You've said that, this area, this region remains a core growth area for the business globally. Which markets in particular are you seeing that opportunity?
Look, it's interesting. It's across all the markets, Heidi. Obviously, here in Australia, we had a fantastic second quarter, double-digit growth on software. Even more importantly is that our cloud growth is really taking momentum. So here locally, we've got a situation in 2017 where our cloud revenues are actually exceeding our software revenues, despite the fact that software is growing strongly. But across the region, we see strong growth, obviously, in India. In Japan, we had a very strong second quarter, and the outlook remains really positive.
And the focus is on SMEs and those sorts of businesses. Is there any sector in particular that you're seeing, particularly strong growth?
Well, the SME is such an important part of Asia-Pacific and Japan. 80% of our business is small, medium enterprise. And if you think about the innovators of tomorrow and today, they come from these small enterprises that grow exponentially, and we want that to be a part of the digital platform that SAP brings. So it's not so much about one industry, it's about making sure that these small enterprises really digitise quickly and are able to compete locally and globally on great technology.
And a lot of businesses in this part of the world very quickly realise there are some really interesting local players and the competition is pretty fierce. How do you differentiate yourself other than clearly being a more global brand?
It's interesting. You've got to be, as a company like SAP, we've got a very proud history of really helping companies run their business simply and truly becoming digitising their processes, making sure that they can service their customers better. But we've also got to be local. We're really proud of the fact that we've been in Asia for over 28 years. We've got great businesses across 18,000 employees across this region. And so it's being a part of the local community, a part of the social community and the economic marketplace. And the two go hand in hand, which means we act local, but we obviously leverage our global strength.
Scott, give us a sense, because, SAP, of course, we've interviewed many of the executives here. We know what a global company this is. How important is the Asia-Pacific region to the overall strategy for SAP?
Tremendous. And there's a couple of reasons why I would say that. First of all, a lot of our global centres of excellence, our research and development centres, innovation across the region, support not only our regional business but also globally. But also when you think about growth, when you think about opportunity and the rise of Asia, our strategy actually around Asia Rising is on the pillars of digitising business, going to the cloud, helping SMEs truly scale and being the best companies. So for SAP to grow globally, Asia Pacific and Japan is very central to that strategy.
But can you break it down further for us, Scott? I mean, what segments and what areas in specific do you see the most growth here or over there in Asia?
So in Asia, it obviously does depend. It's a very diverse market. It's the beauty of our marketplace. It's so diverse in terms of the geographic, but also the regional differences between markets like Japan, Australia, India, Korea, Southeast Asia. But there is some commonality. Industries such as in the resources sector, utilities, oil and gas, consumer products, retail, as well as in public services and in financial services. So they'd be the industries where we see consistent growth. And then we obviously then manage in terms of the economic fluctuations in some industries that will have ups and downs. But as a company, we're very good at being able to support businesses when they're in difficult times and being able to optimise, and when they're in good economic markets, being able to capitalise.
Scott, just really, very briefly though, I mean, how much are you pricing in though this geopolitical risk, in Asia, and in particular what we see in the headlines between U.S. and North Korea, trade frictions? Does any of that play into your outlook and your growth prospects in Asia?
The reality is we work with governments and with different political environments all around the world. That's no different here in Asia. And we are very consistent in the way we operate. We're very focused on a diverse and inclusive business, really helping businesses run better. So, yes, while there's sometimes political uncertainty, we pride ourselves on really helping businesses and governments run their business better, run simply. And so those situations don't tend to affect our long-term outlook or the way we operate.
With respect to tech infrastructure, software infrastructure, this idea of potentially ramping up to be a state nation, a smart nation, I should say, the way that the likes of Singapore are doing right now, is there a sense that Australia is being left behind or not investing enough?
I don't think they're left behind. I think what we do see is some countries are really focused on things like smart traffic, smart infrastructure, and using IoT as an enabler to change and help society become more efficient, more effective. And we do see that definitely here in Australia. Geographically, it's such a big country, it's often difficult to be able to cover all those aspects, whereas a country like Singapore, obviously geographically smaller. But we do see investments of governments all around the region really investing in becoming much more smarter to be able to support their citizens.